Copyright 2017 Win Your Brand. All rights reserved. This video is subject to copyright owned by Win Your Brand. Any reproduction or republication of all or part of this video is expressly prohibited, unless Win Your Brand has explicitly granted its prior written consent. All other rights reserved.
I've had a harder time getting into the sales mode. So that's why I'm like, I need to do it. Even if I kind of know a little bit of theory, it's like I just have to kick myself in the butt a little bit. So this came at a good time.
That's good. I'm happy for that. Okay. So just to recap after the lunch, I know it's always a very challenging time. We go back with the same question back to you guys. What is the best part you like so far in the day? We start from this side. So out of all of this learning, which one you believe is the best one, and how you will apply it to what you do right now?
Oh goodness. I don't know. I think probably the beat, time, money, relationship, process information. That part I really liked.
And
it's really simple.
How will you apply?
Just make sure that I'm covering those different points in my sales materials when I'm talking to the people, being more aware, like the CU2 and
okay.
Or you know.
And what do you like about them?
What do I like about it?
Yeah.
Just I think just I'm going to be more aware so that I can relate more, say the right things, because often you don't have time to say much. They'll cut you off this quick if you don't capture their attention. So anything that can help you get closer and quicker to the result will be helpful, I think.
That's good.
Yeah.
What about you, Kat?
My favorite part would be the that timeline, that guide of from general to kind of retired, as well as like the breakdown of the, buy now, buy later. It kind of tells me how I should be putting my energy in as a business owner, because I think a lot of the times I'll either focus on buy now so much, but it's such a small part of the business. Sometimes I lose sight of the total picture. So now I kind of have an idea, like if I'm putting 3 hours for buy now, then I need to put in 30 hours for people who will like buy if something changes. I need to have different materials for the different stages.
Wow.
Yeah.
And one point to share with you here, I know your business model is you go to community event, and so when I go to community event, I have to have my banners, I have to have my whole unique fingerprint there, so people will remember me.
Mm-hmm.
So when I go back, people will remember me, so they will come back to me. So sometimes when you be aware of these criterias or classes of buyers, you don't need really to do much more than spend more time designing a unique presence or unique experience. So people, when they come across of you, they remember, oh yeah, this is a business. I want to go back and buy from them because I'm ready now. So good. What about you, Anthony?
It's behavior, emotional triggers. I can almost like understand the way I can connect with people better on a daily basis, because I've always had this trouble I can't read them properly, or I can't connect with them, and it's left me out on opportunities that I could have had if I read them properly and explained myself better.
And I promise to explain to you why people divorce.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very simple. It's more simpler than what we believe in. What we understand from this model that these people are conflicting to each other, and these quadrants are conflicting to each other. So if we understand the functional values and the fractional value of each individual, we can get harmony in our life. Because if your functional value is you would like to be laid back, and my fractional value is I hate people laid back, and we don't know that, and we go on a relation together as a business partner or as whatever, or as a spouses or whatever. And after 4 to 6 years, 8 years maybe, our fractional will hit each other. So I will start to not appreciate the relation because I don't appreciate the functional values. We understand also that when we grown up, our parent will push us to the quadrant. So for me, I don't appreciate relationship people at all, my life.
Oh, really?
All my life, my parent will ask me, why you don't have so many friends? Why you don't have so many friends? So when I first the first one, which is community magnet, everybody's a friend, all my parents was pushing me is to have more friends. So I believe I have friends and she has friends. So we believe we are like each other. And we are not. We are actually conflicting because I lack this part. And I'm here. And she is dominant in this part. If we don't have the functional values together, matching each other, if we have fractional, with the time the fractional will show on every single conversation. And that's why people will break apart as a business partner or as spouses. This is just simple. Now, there are exercises and there are workshops we do where we get people to understand what their functional values and their fractional values. However, you also understand that with the mood and the time, these functional and the fractional values are different. So, because I'm aware of this knowledge now, when I have conflict, I go back and say, can I work out with this conflict? What's their functional values here? What's mine? What's my fractional? If I say no, I cannot work with these functional values of them, I step away and cut the relation loose because it will be more drastic later on. If I say no, I understand the conflict, but both of us has like 3 functional values and there is 1 fractional. When the fractional will show, I will avoid it. I will not give it attention. I will not focus with it. And this is a deeper discussion we can have. I believe we run like 11 course only based on this concept. Because this concept is rational to your marketing material, to your website, to your sales information, to your how you write your bio. How you write who you are, how you write your about section, how you write your branding message. Its functions, who are your targets. And from that also there is psychology of colors and so many other things. I'm not here to share lots about this, I'm just here to share you a few things. Make sense to you?
Yeah.
Okay. Before we proceed, I wanna, as you notice, I have here a gap in the middle. That's right. So this gap has a reason. And the reason for this gap is we also developed something we called mindless compliance pillars. So this is our 7 pillars where people will comply better to your wishes. What's your wish if you are in front of a customer or a lead or a client? Your wish is to them to go to the next level. So there are some 7 steps or 7 pillars you have to understand and you have to observe in what you do. The first one, we call it consistency.
Is this on the book?
This is not on this book. This will be in the talk.
Okay.
In the presentation I share with you. So consistency means what? You have to be consistent. If you show up late, you have to show up late all the time. If you show up, we don't show up late, that's right, for our events or our meetings. If you have marketing material or brochures or material, the material has to be what?
Consistent.
What does it mean consistent?
It's got to be the same every time.
Close by font, close by size, similar format, same logo. How many of you have different logos? How many of you have logos and the logos will not print on transparent and will only print a background? How many of us will have material which is not consistent? For me, we have these colors, which is I don't like the most, because the business we do, people will resonate with these colors. So you will find the flavor of this color in everything you do. You will always find at least one time on every single material we have where you use the QR code. The fonts we use are very similar. So no matter what material you have from us, you will always have at least one QR code. We should have one QR code here. You will have here, this is the workshop we have. You will always have a QR code. So you will always have a flavor of the color. I have my three champion or three people here. The first one has a mask, red. The last one has a red mask. And the brand is written with what color?
Red.
And that's why these people are branding. So the middle guy raising his hand, calling for his own brand. This is how sophisticated you can get in being consistent. So I'm not sure if you have my card, but this is how these three superstars are. And people will come to me and say, why do you use stock material? I said, this is not a stock material. They are built from stock. Yeah, they are free stock. You can find them, but you never really find somebody customize them in this way. So we do have a little conversation about everything where we show that we are consistent. Okay. One of the biggest challenge is your logo size. Is your logo size dimension are always consistent? So consistency is one of the biggest persuasion or mindless compliance. The second one, we call it reciprocity. Reciprocity means I give, I get. Okay? What you can give to your audience and your customers and your client, at least you give them information. You can give them free token, you can give them free guide, you can give them information, you can give them giveaways, you can give them. So when you give, most likely what will happen? You will get back, that's right? Mm-hmm. The third one, you have to have appreciation. How many times you have been asked since the morning, how much do you like this material? Do you really like it? How do you appreciate being here? How many times did I ask you these questions?
3.
Have you ever felt that I'm asking out of being feared or scared that you don't like it?
No.
Have you have any time a doubt that I am not really aware of the value of the information I'm providing?
No.
Why do I ask you?
I thought it was a way of learning.
Because I always would like you to appreciate, to like. We call it appreciation or likeness. So when you build a conversation with your customers and you share them information, you have to watch. It's not a one way. I am not the instructor who gives them instructions. I tell them, yeah, do you agree on this? Do you like it? Do you buy into this? You have to use languages. Can you relate to that? Do you have any input here? Okay. The fourth one, we call it scarcity or urgency. People will need to have urgency to connect. How we create urgency? You mentioned it before. Limited offer, limited seat. June special only, that's right. Summer offer, last chance. So there are words you can use where you can highlight to them. So I used to manage sales team, and they used to go and say, and today this will be the last meeting I will have with you guys to close this deal. And they keep talking and they go, oh, I need to get signature from my board. No problem. When should we check back with you? In 2 weeks. The board meeting is next week. It's great. They go back in 2 weeks and they say, today is the last meeting to close this deal. They said, it's good. You know, the board has this question. Can you answer them? The guy will say, yes, I can answer them. Is the board happy? They, yeah, it's happy, it's okay. They are moving forward. They want to just have answers. So they go back, answer them, and they go back, meet with the contact point and say, today is the last day to talk about this deal. The guy said, oh yeah, I love the answer, we'll present them and the board will be in 2 weeks from now. He has to walk back and come back to collect the contract. Say, okay, today, he always say, today is the last chance to talk. But when the, sorry?
Why?
Because he wants to create a scarcity, so he will not be here tomorrow. You have to make up your decision now. And this guy was a really high closer. He closes a lot of deals for me. So urgency is very important. Remember, we talked about manipulative and professional delayers, that's right? In type of buyers. So if you want to pressure them, you have to have scarcity, you have to have urgency. That's why majority of my material will have limited seatings. And they are truly limited because we are limited with the size of this room. I don't like to go in a bigger event because I found out that you waste lots of overhead time and you don't get value. Here we are more like intimidated kind of relationship. You get 4 to 6, 8, 12 is the maximum you can get in this room. So it's always for me limited seating. Okay. So then one of the other material we talk about was social proof. How to get social proof? By testimonials, by showing how often people are using it, by showing how many customers do you have, by showing who else is using it. The last one is called, no, not the last one, the one before is called authority. Do you have an authority for what you offer? So on authority, we learn that a physiotherapist who will put her sign in front of her patient as her degree in front of her patient, she will exercise, I believe, 56% better compliance on the routines. The Center for Infectious Disease in the US, they have a study said 63% of patients will follow weight loss instructions if they are written on a doctor prescription. Because doctor prescription means what? Authority of a doctor. That's right. So it's very important to show your ego and say, why it's me. Don't intimidate them. If they know you are, because you made a comment about the PhD.
Yeah.
It's one of my authority. I cannot hide it. So when you meet somebody who has a PhD, spend some good time as a professor, spend good time as a business owner and build successful businesses, and he is now willing to teach you or share with you his knowledge in business. Are you interested to listen from him, or are you interested to listen from somebody who spent all of his life as a business owner, never teach anything? Or somebody who is just a classical professor in university, he never ran a business. Which one of the three you will initially give it better consideration? So very important, don't feel shy. I know individuals, when they go on sales call, they will have these certificates and they put it in front of you. Or they come and they have a folder and they open it like this. Here is the name of my company. And then they will always talk over there and they never touch it. And then what will happen after the meeting ends? They go and they close their folder and leave. Have you ever questioned why they have such an activity? Because they have been trained by professional salespeople, and they do know when I have an authority, people will listen to me. It's the same concept. Why do we have the name badge on our company shirt? Do you have a name tag on your shirt? Like, you see people walking around with a company shirt?
Oh, yeah, of course, yeah.
So do you really respect them because this is elevator repair guys, or this is ours?
I assume he's trained in whatever he does.
You assume they are trained, that's right?
Mm-hmm.
So I know someone who will go house to house to sell equipment, and he has this shirt in his car. So before he jump in front of your door, he will basically put the shirt on his regular shirt, and when he's done, he took it out. Why he has been told to show always with the company shirt?
Well, you're more likely to open the door for him.
And when he talks about the company, he talks about the company authorized. The company have been around for 26 years. Our company have been doing thousands of jobs. Our company will be doing hundreds of fixing. Our company will, and he will always give credibility to the company. So when he show up with the authority on his chest, will you ever question his quality? For God's sake, he has been only in the company for 3 days, which is always true. So expressing authority, it has a percentage in how people will be mindlessly compliant, which basically accepting your recommendations. And I always stand here and say, I'm in a very awkward situation because I show individuals how to comply with what I'm saying. And sometimes around the lecture, I have to stop and tell them, if you want to be like me, you have to observe these. And people say, how you share how you get us in. I said, no, I'm not sharing how you get you in. I have a really good content. I have a good message and mission I believe in, and I'm more than happy to share with you how you get your tribes, your follower toward you.
So what does mindless compliance mean exactly?
Follow up and agree to my messages and my wishes without engaging your mind. Okay?
Conscious mind.
Your conscious mind.
Conscious mind, okay.
Yeah.
That is
So I tell you, can you sign right now and give me your credit card? You say yes. Here's my credit card. Full stop.
Right, because there's just the barriers.
Because I built enough trust, I built enough knowledge, I have. And I will share with you, there is one more. And the last one is called commitment. If you have people to commit, what they found out is if you write down the next meeting of your doctor or the follow-up visit to your doctor, there are 13% or 16% better show up for the next follow-up meeting because people actually write down the next appointment. So the clerk will not, the front desk will not write it for you.
Oh.
She will give you a blank card and you say, okay, write down here for yourself. Its next meeting is Thursday or Wednesday, August 1st at 2 o'clock. The minute you write it down, the minute you have commitment to it, and the minute that you will show up to it, right? So how I can visualize this in my material? Very straightforward. Bring your marketing material and apply. Are your marketing material consistent? Is your message consistent? Is your image and photo consistent? Don't justify, don't defend. Don't say, oh yeah, you know what? My computer just, my printer just ran out of red. Okay, just print the whole thing black and white. If you don't have black ink, print the whole thing in red color. You don't give an excuse not to show up professional and lack consistency. Because if you are inconsistent, will people trust you? Will people feel you are committed? There are so many people who will come to me and say, oh yeah, you know what, I'm doing this and I'm committed to it and here is my business card. Gmail account. Okay. Why do you use Gmail account? They told me this is the best business email and always used by businesses. I said, okay, so how much do you charge per hour? $50 to $100? Will you pay somebody $50 an hour while he cannot spend $15 a year to register a URL and have a legitimate, consistent email with his business? It costs you literally $15 an hour for a website. If you want to have unlimited use of a website, it's $150 a year, which is about $10, $15 a month. Will you pay somebody $50 an hour if he cannot afford investing $150 per year to have unlimited website? Will you? So when you look at consistency, the consistency has to be
right. Yeah, not
to this level.
Not just the color, not just the picture, but I guess even email.
Will you invest in someone who is the business owner of his business? I wouldn't, because if he got hit by a truck, what will happen? So mine, I'm a founder and partner, because we had literally 4 other partners, and you have some contractors. So I'm not the owner. I'm one of the partners. If a bus will hit me, what will happen? There are some other people to run the business. So when people subscribe for a year engagement, they know it's not a one-man show. I may be the prime guy, I may be the one mainly delivering, but I not come and say, you know, I am the one and the only one. That's right. When Michael Jackson passed away, we cannot hear Michael Jackson songs again. That's right. However, when the Beatles lost one, we still listen to some Beatles music, right? So this is kind of when you talk about consistency. So reciprocity. Look at your marketing material. Look at your conversation. How much you give out. Okay. Do you really walk in and say, yeah, and I have here a free edition for you, and I have here a free sauce for you, and I have here a free book for you. I do have here a free report for you. Have you ever did this and walk away without a sale? Very rarely. Because if you have a relationship and you leave behind material, people will appreciate as reciprocity. On appreciation, you have to do like what exactly I'm doing. I always go back and ask you, what did you learn? Do you like the material? Do you have use for it? Is this really what you expect? I was shocked when you told me, but I budget more time for you. You don't leave us right now. Remember when I told you like till right now, like 2 hours? This was like a shocking, wow, you know, like that's good. That's good. So it's very good to say it. You are very honest. I appreciate it. So when I have conversation, I have to always look at appreciation. Are they like what I say? Are they appreciated? Do they have use to it? They like me. They appreciate my time invested there. How do I know that? By asking them questions. So when you run a workshop or a seminar or a meeting or an event, you have to ask people, do you appreciate the experience? Do you like what did you see? Okay? From adult learning, what I do after every single break is just to get you back, what did you learn? I'm just making you as example to teach others in your own language what are the main points. So you will notice that you learned about 3 points again. I re-elaborate on the 3 points again because each one of you will say a different point or a different spin to it. When you say it in your own language, I understand you now got the point deep inside you and you are sharing it with others so the others also get the point. And sometimes I learn from that because sometimes I don't see what you see on the material as well. Do you have a scarcity and urgency for people to buy? Do you have it in your material? Do you have it in your dialogue? Do you say last minute offer? Last meeting, is it only limited offer? Do you have social proof? Do you have references? Do you have social proof? Do you have testimonial? Do you have language which say 40%, 45 community or mega art or publication distributed in 45 communities, which lead to how many houses?
60,000.
So which one is more powerful? 60,000 house or 45 community?
60,000.
Assume the houses. I don't know. I think
Both.
I think because we're in Calgary, it sounds too small. Period.
Pause. Pause.
Oh,
Pause.
both, okay.
I would say we reach 60,000 plus household within exclusive 45 communities.
That's a lot.
Because if somebody process and the information will question what? The 60,000. But when you put in front of them 45 community, we understand there are between 1,200 to 2,000 house per community. So 2,000 times 45 is 90. 1,200 times 45, you can do the math for it, which will end up being close to 59,000.
So that should be mentioned.
Not to,
Materials.
you should mention both 60,000 house.
As social proof.
This is social proof.
Oh, so I wouldn't have even thought that would be kind of even related to that.
Why? If 60,000 will read your your magazine, it means what?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. No, I guess that's true. Sorry. I guess I usually.
So you say 60. You can say
area,
60,000 plus or 60,000 and growing.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Within 45 exclusive community.
Mm-hmm.
Exclusive means what? That's right.
It's not all of them. It's not every community.
It's exclusive. So if I want to come to join, I'm joining an exclusive publication.
Mm-hmm.
Is it a common publication or is it a special publication?
Special.
Exclusive means what? Okay. One word can change the whole word. One word, there's only difference L. Word and world is one L difference, right? W-O-R-D and W-O-R-L-D. Okay. Authority is very important. So when you say 26 years in business or 15 years, community is good. If you say acknowledged by, member of, degrees you have, what other people say? Most wanted. Some people say the most wanted magazine, the most wanted newspaper. Who wanted it, you know? If even I have my photo on a wanted platform, means I'm wanted, right? So, and the last one is commitment. So how you get commitment? By getting people to write down, getting people to agree, to sign. So you should go back and see which one of these pillars you apply in your sales cycle and your marketing. And if you don't apply these pillars, figure out a way to add activity or add words to apply. The last part of this is we talked about the NLP a little bit in the back. And this model should get you way ahead of your competitor. Okay? Any questions? It's very tough to have it after lunch.
What?
Are you awake?
Yeah. I'm just.
Beef and fries. Ooh.
No, it's just the medication.
Oh, okay.
I'm sick, so it's just
Okay.
bad.
You're doing well then.
I have like chest pains in my, like I think, I'm pretty sure it's my heart. So.
Oh no.
I was supposed to do an X-ray like 3 months ago, but I was like,
Oh.
Okay. So the next step is there are two ways to go from now. There is one way is to go and visit some of the objection scripts, or there is a special chapter here which we can talk about it offline on when we have these online meetings, which talk about how you can overcome objections. It costs too expensive. So I would rather go with the general objections. What do you like to do? General objections first.
what was the second answer?
The second one is how you overcome an price objection saying your service is too expensive. And we can do both. We can do one in person, and before we go today, we have to come up with a specific time that all of us can meet. And I will send you a Zoom link, and we can be on Zoom, which is an online platform. And it will be also recorded so you can have it. And then we can discuss few material. And we'll have 4 meetings after that, like 3 hours, at least 3 hours each. So you can have equivalent of 3 days. That's right. Today is 1 day, and then you have 2 days of 6 hours each. So you have 4 meetings. And I strongly believe this is the best practice to practice this material.
Why?
Yeah, because you have to apply it. You have to digest it.
Not
You have
just
to
take
come.
it home, put it on your shelf. I'll do it later.
Yeah.
That's what I end up doing most of the time.
I
so.
changed my life with this material back when I started to learn them, and I gradually mastered some of them, and I'm mastering the rest of them, and I see the implication. It's in my regular conversation. If you go to the table conversation over there in the restaurant, I can tell you that's how you can handle this discussion in a higher scale. Always remember, when somebody asks you a question, use the sandwich technique. What the sandwich technique means?
What?
Sandwich technique. If I want to tell you something bad or something you will not like, how can I tell it to
Oh,
you?
you tell them something good and then the bad and then good.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if somebody will come to you and say anything which is you feel it like criticizing, or they like
Oh, it's like
beef and fries is really bad for you, or want you to
no,
sleep.
it just be like,
So you should go back and say, I accept this, I acknowledge it. However, the problem is the medications. It's not that. And you can tell something good after that. Or you can say, yeah, you know what? Well, the food was amazing. Did you enjoy the food? Yeah, I know I shouldn't have this meal. However, I enjoyed it and I will push myself to be awake. Can you help me being awake? Other than saying, oh yeah, I know it was bad, yeah, it's not a conversation. Take these concepts, apply to your regular daily conversation. If you accept your boss or your friend or your co-worker criticism, acknowledge it, and give them a reason not to do it again, they will not do it again. But if they find a way to intimidate you, they will keep doing it. That's why I'm very hard to be intimidated, because I train myself enough. I'm aware of it, and I apply. Sometimes, yeah, it gets there, but 80%, 90% of the time, I am well controlling my emotion. Now, is this good or bad? Is a different story, okay? When everybody's really on the hype up, and you are really cool,
Yeah, I like that.
we have to talk about this. But overall, you can manage the conversation by sandwich technique. You can manage them by the 3A: accept, acknowledge, advance. You can manage it by the 3F: I know how you feel, people felt the same, and they found. All of them has one thing: you take the language from their words, their mouth, and send it to them back. And you know what? If you wanna make them feel stupid, you start to say, yeah, I hear you, you told me this, I know how you feel. Can you tell me more? What? Can you tell me more about the combination of the meat and the fries?
Hey, that's just being playful. I wasn't on you.
Wait, what were you
You're
talking
like,
about?
No, I understood that. It
I
wasn't an
forgot
insult.
about it.
No, I thought it was pretty playful. Like,
Yeah,
it's funny,
I was
like,
being
when
playful.
you
I was
go,
being playful.
And I'm not here to make you guys feel bad or good. I'm showing you, like, I can pick up on an example and I can make it in a way to you always remember it. If you come to me and say, yeah, that's why people don't eat beef and fries. Yeah, you know what? I know what you say. I feel tired. But can you tell me more about what's the relationship? And then she will start to talk about that. She's like, do you really have a scientific proof for that? Where did you get this information?
It's like,
Can you share with me the reference? You will make them feeling, you know what?
Oh my god.
Don't do this to your customers, okay? And don't do this to your friends.
I'm gonna do it to my dad.
If you do it in the same pace, in the same tone, with a smile, and I love your smile, you know what will happen to him? He knows that you are serious. He knows that you are serious, want this information. You are not making it up, you are not intimidating him, you are not rejecting him.
That's funny. I'm gonna have a good time.
Okay?
I always feel a little awkward doing the feel felt found. I guess I haven't really done it in a long time, but it feels awkward to me because I know that I'm doing the feel felt found, and then I think, well, my clients, they're selling as well because that's their business. Well, customers, they're in the business of that too. So I feel like.
And now you are judging them. Now you are
They probably
judging.
know these things too, and what if they think that
This is your judgment.
I know, but it makes me a little uncomfortable, which gives me, because of my judgment, it makes me a little bit uncomfortable.
I know. The question to you is,
I think
will you buy from a professional?
Yeah.
Will you buy from a professional or you buy from amateur? Which one you will buy better and pay more money?
professional.
So if I am a salesman and I know feel, felt, found, and you use it against me, I will know what about you now.
she's a professional, yeah.
But I think I like the
So,
the accept.
okay.
Acknowledge, advance, because I hadn't heard that one before, so I think I
It
could do
doesn't
that
matter
one
what you
easier.
like. What point I want to make
Yeah.
sure to you is, I bought
Right.
from people for one reason. They were professionally positioning what they sell for what I don't need. And I bought. And when I went, I bought it from them. I said, I am paying you the money now, not because I need the product, because you did a very good job convincing me and others to buy this product. I'm professional enough, I understand what level of professionalism went into your training to be able to do this for a living. So if you come and say, people know feel, felt, found, and I don't want to use it because I don't want to sound salesy, is great. If these people are using them and they know that the professional sales people or people who have professional sales training apply this concept, the minute you start to open your mouth and say it, what's the impression there? Wow.
I've been trained.
You have a professional sales training. It means you are serious about your business. You are not amateur. You are here for good. You will keep doing it forever. It's not just a job till you find another job back downtown.
Oh, good point. Good
Okay.
point. That's kind of true, actually.
Okay? So, will you pay the big bucks for professional or for amateur? I will pay more money for professional. That's right. So, I get this all the time. I get something actually more nasty than that.
That's interesting. That's interesting. I never thought of it that way.
But do you agree with this approach? Is this could be an alternative approach to your own perception?
Absolutely.
You see, I get her acceptance. So the next question would be: are you willing to replace my approach and practice it next 6 times till you verify that my approach will serve you better than your perception? You see how I am getting you into the agreement of what I'm saying?
That's advanced.
So
stuff.
natural.
It's not advanced stuff. I am doing it. Did I change my pace? Did I change my tone? Did I change my eye contact? Did I feel no. I'm just very normal. I hear this objection all the time. The longer I stand in this place, there are people who are objecting to what I say.
Yeah.
I take their objections and work it in the same way. In the same way I teach, I apply to my life. The other thing which is very interesting is when we have feel, felt, found, you'll find somebody sitting here, oh, yeah, feel, felt, found, yeah, we got this in the course 6 years. Oh, that's great. Did you apply it? Oh, no. So what value of help? And then I have the conversation with them.
Yeah.
So if you put your mindset that everybody loves you, everybody appreciates what you say, and all what you hear of these objections, it meant to clarify your messages, you will never be hurt or harmed internally by anybody telling you, no, we don't like it. Like we have 3 individuals who just send me messages, we are not coming today. Do they feel hurt? No, I feel happy. You know what? We will pay less cost. We have more money. It's a beauty, you know, and they have better time to spend with you guys because we can spend longer time. Was this good or bad? It's good for me. I believe it's good for you too. So it's just attitude. You have to keep it in yourself, and attitude will never be used by you as attitude without practicing. Keep doing it. Then it becomes in your DNA. It takes
Natural.
It takes 6 practices. 6 times only is not too much.
Yeah, that's doable.
Okay? Now, I want to go to straightforward objections and I want to discuss them. So the first objection, which is existing in page 117. I don't know your company. So if you go in your book in page 117, and I recommend that you write your name in the first page of the book, so you know this is your book. Somebody will say, I don't know your company. What's your feeling when somebody will tell you, I don't know your company? Can you write it down in where is your notes are in the book? Can you write it down? What's your feeling when somebody say, I don't like your I don't know your company?
It's time to get to know me.
So how do you feel about this? Do you feel you are small? Do you feel?
A little bit scared too. You're like, oh.
Okay. What do you feel when somebody say, I don't know you?
I'll figure I'm working with a blank slate.
Yeah.
Like what I can, communicate to them will be, it's fresh anyway, so I can kind of say whatever I want.
Okay. So what the client mean, who are you? Clients have found that purely emotional objection like this one quickly uncover the insecurity of an average salesman or the average salesperson. I've seen salespeople who will say, and you know what? And me too, I just joined this company a month ago.
Oh, no.
This is I like in insurance, when we do insurance sales training, I heard this from some people in live actions. Yeah, I just joined them a month ago.
Yeah, one to buy insurance from you.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
if there's anything.
That's right.
you're gonna buy. Yeah.
The average person will say, no, you don't. Why does no one likes me? Why no one know me? It become defensive, it become waffle, and ultimately bails out of the call, because the call means on a phone call or in person. Like majority of this material will be covering both sides. Like you can use it. So if somebody will say, I don't know your company or I don't know you, do they really mean that they don't know you and they don't want to talk to you? Or it means what? So if you flip the back of the page, here is what you have to adopt as attitude. So a superstar will say, fantastic, that's exactly why I have called you. We are the, and what you put after the. Remember the benefits?
Yes.
Do you remember the benefits?
Yes.
So what you put after the?
Could be.
But I'm confused.
You put the benefits.
Yeah.
It's on page 118, 118.
Like for me, it'd be like I'm the only African food brand.
So you can adopt something like fantastic, that's exactly why I have called you, and we are the best, blah, 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 and you talk about the benefit of your business.
Yeah. Okay.
That's right. If fantastic is not your word, find out a word. So what you should put in the notes, what are the possible statements you can write. So if you don't use fantastic, that's why exactly I have called you, what alternative you can use as a script? And can you complete the sentence and say what is the unique selling point you have?
Do we need the word the?
It doesn't matter, whatever you like.
Okay.
Now, the sales superstar will think you will know in a minute. He understands that big performers are motivated from the inside out. Only average salespeople will be affected by this kind of comment. Why, as an approach like fantastic? Well, that's great. You know what? I'm here now to share with you the value of a business or my business or what we do. Because it reframes the client expectation of how salespeople behave. It is positive and amusing. It was never been a real objection anyway. Do anybody object to deal with you because they don't know you? If you said yes, means a stranger will never be friends, right? Man, since you were born, I believe everybody of us is born, that's right? Even if you believe in reincarnation, you're still born, okay? This is one of the realities in our life. We are born. So if this was a real objection, since you are born, you'll be on your own. You will never have a friend or discussion with a stranger. Stranger will never know you, that's right? So is it a real objection that they don't know you?
No.
Okay?
Because otherwise they would have called you.
Okay. So do you have a minute to just write down notes what exactly you will be able to respond? You have a template which said fantastic. It's page 118. Yes, this one. So how you can change fantastic? That's exactly why I have called you, or that's why I am here. Now, what you need to do with this script, you need to always being flexible of using it. So what I recommend is whatever scripts we'll go with right now, you should write them, go sleep, wake up tomorrow, review them. Next day, review them. Weekend, review them. Be ready when someone will give you this objection, how they answer. If you are sales manager or if you have part-time sales team, do we have sales team without training?
No.
Okay.
You don't want them burning leads.
So if you have a sales team and you want to train them, you can share with them this material and stand in my shoes here. If you have sales training hierarchy and you want us to train them, you will give me this book back with your notes to it. And if we stand here, anyone, either me or Sean or anyone from Win Your Brand will train them. We will basically use your script instead of fantastic. That's exactly why I have called you. Do you understand now the exercise? So for you to be familiar with this material, you have to review them. Tomorrow, 2 days, weekend, now and then. If you have a partner or a sales team or somebody who's selling on your behalf, you can either run for them a workshop like this, or sit close to the table and share it with them. You can type it and give it to them on the computer and question it. Or if you want us to come in and just train them, we are more than happy to do it as well. The following objection, which is very common, we don't use that. So I'm coming to you, I say, I have a sauce, or I have a advertisement, or I have a leadership training. And the parent will say, yeah, we don't use leadership training. So what you will say, what's your answer will be?
I just feel like, yeah, I hear you. I get that from a lot of other people I've talked to. However, I've showed them the benefits to my leadership courses, such as it helps them understand who they are as a person, where their characters are.
You see, now we are going to the benefits. You see now?
Yeah.
That's good.
Oh, that's good? Okay.
That's awesome. So if we want to analyze it, you say, I don't use that. What the client means is what? I see no need for your service. Does he say your service is not important? No. He says that I have no need for your service. The client either doesn't see the need of your service or is using this approach as an instant conversation terminator. An average salesperson will say, no one wants our products. There are actually people who will go back to their directors, and people used to work for me as a sales team, and they come back to me and say, oh, you know what, this company doesn't want our product at all. They are not our best customers. I said, yes, that's great, that's good. Then I go back and I call up, I used to be a CEO or a CTO of a company. I call back the CTO or a CEO and I have a conversation, and in 2 months I sell them my product. Because when we used to have people, we never trained them. In my first 7 years of businesses, I never really trained anybody. My intuition, my IQ is a little bit, can grab things, so I can go and just do stuff, and I never really concerned about the messages. And then one day I had this individual coming to me and said, I would like to invest in your company. I said, that's great. How many will say no to investors? Will you ever say no to investors? If you will come on to invest in your company? We always say yes.
Depends what the deal is, but
Depends
yeah,
on the
generally.
situation.
Yes, that's right. And this guy came in and said, I have one condition. I said, what is it? He said, I want to meet with you on your own, set up a meeting with your engineering team, each one individually, with your sales team, each one individually, with your marketing team, each one individually. I said, yeah, we are 45 people in this company right now. Do you want to meet 45 meetings? He said, oh, you know what? No, I will just get selection. So he ended up having 11 meetings. Like some of them, no, he didn't meet everybody at the end of the day. And then he came to me and said, I will not invest in your company. I said, it's funny that you came in like the other day and said, I have this couple of $1 million for your business and I've been watching you and I want to invest in your company. And you come now after 1 week saying, I'm not interested. Like, what happened in a week? He said, yeah, you don't understand. He said, what do you understand? He said, you don't have a company. I said, no, we have 45 people. We have these sales numbers. He said, no, you don't have a company. He said, what do you mean? He said, listen, what you produce and who you serve, can you answer this? I said, yeah, I answered you. This is this. He said, okay, here is the answers of each one of your company employee. The engineers have a different view of the product. Sales and marketing have a different view of the products. Sales and marketing team among themselves have significant differences in how they can position the product. He said, each one here has his own understanding. I would recommend to you as a young entrepreneur, I was like less than 30 years old at the time, I would recommend you to just sit with your team, have a weekly meeting, and present to them your vision about the company. And call me back in 6 months. In a year later, he came and invested. Because it took me 1 year to unify. I never understand what you mean vision. It means if I ask you a question about your business, I ask your partner, 80% of the language between you is exact same. How many of us have a business more than us, like 3-4 individual, and have this luxury? Not many. You'll be surprised. You'll go and say, can you tell me the benefit of your product to your customers, to the engineer, to the developer, to the sales team, to the marketing team, to the owner of the business? None of them will give you the same results. All of them will give you different benefits because they don't talk among each other. When they sit and talk, they don't have this conversation. So it's very important if I talk to you and I say, I don't use that, and I talk to Kevin, I say, I don't use that, you and Kevin share what? Similar feedback, similar information. Okay? Otherwise, you don't have a business. So, if you go to the following page, which will be page, I believe, 120. A recommended answer here is, and I am not asking you to change now. Merely get to know you and understand a little bit more about your business and what you use. Or what do you use? So a sales superstar will believe, and I will find a need for it if you have one. So now I'm going with you to discover more about your business so I can better position my services. That's right. So a sales training can help what? Can help you growing your sale, or can help you establishing a new sales team if you don't have one. Or it can help you increase your sales if you have weak sales. It can help you set up to, I can position this sales training for so many benefits if I know more about the business in front of me. So if somebody will come to me and say, oh, we don't use sales training, I will take the same approach. So
do you acknowledge them first, or
you
do
could
go straight into and?
You could, if you like. You could acknowledge it. But if I say, and I'm not asking you to change now, is a kind of acknowledgement, that's right? I don't use this.
Yeah.
We don't use that. That's right? Mm-hmm. So you could adopt the conversation in a different way. Mm-hmm. Why this is work? It diffuses the threat of pushy salesman. It changed now is an embedded command. And who doesn't like to talk about themselves and their businesses? So when I come to you, I say, okay, I'm not asking you to change, but let me know more about what you do. And I would like just to introduce myself and have a conversation. So tell me more about your business. Now, do you really memorize this script? I can't. I have a visual memory. I can see, but I cannot memorize. So I pick up from this the most important language. I am not asking to change you, to change now. I want to understand more about your business. I would like to introduce myself. I would like to keep a connection. And I program my mind how to put these particular sentences or phrases into conversation. That's it. If you are the type of individual who can memorize, and you will feel naturally, normally, same tone, read it, memorize it. If you are from the individual who like to understand and then apply in his own language, write your own language under the notes. Okay? We are not here in a citation course. We don't ask you to cite. We ask you to dynamically engage with this kind of dialogue. Okay? Any discussions or any reflections? How often you get this objection? We don't use that. or we don't use advertisement, or we don't use SaaS, or we don't use,
You hear it. You
You
hear
hear
it.
it often.
and how your current reaction to it.
Well, that sucks. I've responded that way.
Which is good, because you terminate the discussion.
I know. I guess I feel like when I'm in person, it feels more natural than to try to say it. But you know, can I say I can understand how you might think that, but we have a really unique publication that you've never seen before.
And
But
here,
that's kind of defensive.
and
what
here,
you're
and
saying.
here, and here,
And I'm
where
just-
you have to change.
Um,
Because when you say,
Sounds
I understand that, is beautiful.
mhm.
And
But instead of going,
We
I say
have-
and we have. instead
we
of but.
have, you are not serving me. Can you stand here and give presentation without saying I? The very first exercise,
Just say the name of the company instead.
it doesn't matter to me. Can you stand and give a sales presentation for 20 to 90 minutes without using the word I or we? This is the very first exercise I do with my customers one-on-one. Can you run me through your sales presentation or sales pitch or sales introduction without using the word I? Because it's not about your
Yeah,
ego.
It's not about that so much as can you mention the company name?
It's
What is
about
we do?
them. It's not about you. So when you say we have a unique publication, good for you.
The publication, but then we're still referring to our thing.
It doesn't matter, but you don't say we have a unique publication. If you say
It's just it.
the publication empower or expand or reach is not about you, it's about them. What benefit you provide to them.
Mm-hmm.
So to be extreme,
Is
you
it
take the
benefit?
word I and we from you. It's okay to use it once or twice, but later on.
Mhm,
But to
mhm.
be extreme in the
Uh-huh.
transformation,
Get you thinking about it.
can you don't use I? Can I stand here and how many times I used I? I only used I when I talk about my personal story, which is legitimate, it's mine. It's not yours, right? But whenever I talk about my company,
You never use it.
I don't use I or we. Or even if I use I or we, I say we serve and we enhance. It's about what we give to somebody like you. But if you say we have a unique publication, or we have whatever you said about the publication, okay, then what? Why do I care? I'm very bold. Somebody will come to me and say, "What's your name?" I say, "Why do you need to know my name? It's mine." Seriously, it's my name. Why do you need to know it? Because anybody coming out of the blue wants to know my name. Do I provide value to them? Do they know what I can do for them? Yes or no?
No.
So usually in business setting, people say, okay, so what do you do? They don't ask you, who are you? They ask you, what do you do?
Unless you're McDonald's or something. Yeah.
That's right.
In Calgary, anyway. Yeah.
Not everywhere. Nobody in business setting will come say, okay, so what's your name? Because your name is
Yeah.
interrogation. People say, okay, what do you do? Where have you been? And they, oh, my name Wael, and you. But somebody from the blue come and say, what's your name? My immediate response, all the time. Why do you need it? It's mine. This will get them thinking a different way. Now they always remember my name, because I will give it to them by the end, after I give them what I do for a living and why I'm protective of my name. And they will always remember me. Okay? So when you come and say, we have a publication, good for you. You know, I'm not here to intimidate you, but just
Yeah, I think it was more the unique things. Like, we don't use that, but they don't know what it is. I guess my interpretation was that they didn't know what it was.
it's not about what it was. It has to. They have to know how it can serve them.
Oh, okay.
You have only
Yeah.
30 seconds, 90
Yeah.
seconds maximum.
Mm-hmm.
You want to brag about the publication, or you want to share what service you can provide them.
That's cool.
We bridge business owners in local community to their ultimate high-paced customers through our unique publication.
What was that?
English is my third language, by the way, so you don't take English language from me. So we bridge or we position local customers, local suppliers or local businesses in front of their ultimate high-paced customers through listing them in our community publication. Would you like to expand your business? And tell me more about your business so I can see if you are a fit.
If you're the right fit.
If you are the right fit for us. Now, what are you doing now? You are sending it to their own field. How dare you tell me we don't use us? Now it's your role to justify why I will like to talk to you.
Yeah.
Which is a very arrogant approach. But it works with white hat. It works with ego. It works, and if people say, what do you mean you are fit to us? We are so and so. Then, wow, that's great. Yeah, let's have a conversation now. You can nail it down. So, when you switch the discussion with these dialogues, you keep the conversation going. Is this useful for you guys?
I love using that pitch. We'll see if it's the right fit.
You know, there is one of them here towards halfway. Is called "Why Should I Listen to You?" So one answer there is said, I know exactly why you feel you shouldn't listen to me, and other people, when they listen to me, I help them growing their businesses and they become millionaires in 2 years or less. Would you mind telling me now why should I even want to stand in front of you?
Got him. Jeez.
Okay? Or you have to be careful, you know, say, and I help people to make $1 million in 2 years or less. Now, I would love to know more about what you do because I may get benefits from you so I can help my customers. This is the red hat because I will know from them, right? Mm-hmm. Or I would like to know if I can also be of a service for you. Oh yeah, we don't use that, we don't use training. I said, yeah, it's great, you know, it doesn't matter. I know many people feel they don't need training. However, will you allow me to share what I do because you may tell me how I can do it better. So you can run it. It's play by the play. It's play by the situation. We don't go with memorized recitations. That's right. We have to be flexible enough. It's a give and take. That's right. Give and take. Give and take. Give and take. So the best way I found when I have this, and that's why I enjoy teaching this course. I love it. Because it helped me also review for myself these contents. So the best way is when you read these dialogues and you come to these situations, you can be very naturally, you understand, okay, what's coming next, what's coming next, what's coming next. The biggest question I always ask myself, if they really don't care about me, why they just don't walk away? Why they tell me why we should talk to you? Why should we listen to you? Why we don't use it? They can easily hang up. Okay? So why they don't hang up? Because I can hang up on you, man.
They're curious.
I can hang out on you, man. I can give you my back and look at the side. That's right. So inside themselves, there are two fires. There are two powers. One power is they really wants to know who is the new kid on the block. And the other power is they are really not interested to be here to listen to another sales story. So when you bring the discussion around them, around their business, what you do, it will serve their ego. And what we do then? We listen more. Does it make sense? Okay. Do you want to go to another, a third one? Do you want to go in order or do you want to skip some? Oh, this is important. This is important. If you make a phone call or you be in person and somebody will say, all of this is controlled by the head office in the US, or all of this is controlled by my partner, so if somebody will say all of this is controlled by, or the decision making is my partner or the head office or somebody in the US, what they mean is not under my control. The client doesn't want to waste time talking about something that is not within his control. It is also a great way of getting rid of unwanted salespeople. Average salesperson, why is nothing as easy as used to be? People are not deciding about themselves. So usually they bail out. They say, oh yes, thank you. Some people will say, can you connect me back to the reception? Okay. If you go to the next page, which is supposed to be page 122, I believe. You can ask question, oh, where in the US? Or who looks after it? What is his role and what's their phone number? When that was implemented? And you can gradually move into how effective has it been? What were the business reason for implementing that in the first place? Superstar, you cannot stop me that easy. I will get from you more information, okay? I have your ears now. That's right. I had a phone call from somebody and I picked up. Usually I don't pick up phone numbers I don't know, as a rule of thumb. So I had someone call me 2 days ago and she said, finally, I am talking to a person. I told her, yes, thank you very much. I really know that I'm a person, but you know what? I'm so busy right now, I cannot listen to you. I'm sorry. Because when you call so many phone calls to voicemails and suddenly you get a person, you don't share that you have been loser, wasting your time with voicemails all the day, okay? Sorry. You know, but I promise you guys, I called her back and I apologize to her. I didn't buy what she was looking for donation from Airdrie for some kind of veteran or I don't remember actually what. Yeah, she was doing donation for something which is not I was really in my interest at the time, but I called her and said I apologize if I was maybe a little bit over the edge with you because you shouldn't say that. So she got shocked. I said, yeah, you know what? It's not. I have the knowledge. I can share it with you. There's no problem. I'm not trying to. I'm just helping you out here. I'm not trying to teach you, and you don't know what business I do, so you don't need to come to my events. But I want to share with you this is not the proper way. I care about you, so you shouldn't be excited about talking to a person, because your normal course of business should be what? Talking to people. Okay. Anyway, so. Sales superstar understands that building business relationship in today's market is likely putting together the many pieces of complex puzzle. Only by building many lines of communication can the picture be completed. And you have to understand that people will not buy you from you for the first touch. The statistics demonstrate that you can have up to 22 touch. You can have between 8 to 22 touch for people to buy from you. So the first time they see you online, it's one touch. The first time they see you in a meetup, it's another touch. The first time they see your advertisement, is another touch. The first time they see your post, that's right. So how many touch do you have to make before you get somebody to talk to you? And if I had a phone number of somebody, I'm not sure how you get your phone numbers. Maybe you get them because you buy them. And if this fellow is phone number in your list, it means what? It means this fellow is part of the purchase process of this other company. That's right. So maybe the purchase order is controlled by the US as a decision, but as a qualification, as evaluation, as a recommendation, who can make it? This individual. That's right. So if somebody stay up front and say, our business decisions are made from the US or from the headquarters, does it really means everything controlled by the headquarters?
No.
Most likely it's not. Do you have a use for this objection in your business? Don't call it US, maybe my partner. Maybe our south office, maybe our north office.
For the head franchising office or whatever.
Whatever. Okay? if somebody will talk about franchising, the franchisor, and the franchisee, whoever is there, sometimes they leave a small budget to the
Right.
franchisee.
And that's what I say.
So
Really.
you should find a way that they will come back to you and tell you this information. So say, yeah, I know the main franchisor, they give you, they control this decision, but let's just agree if you really need it. So when I talk to them, I will have your confirmation that you really need this service. Let me tell you about my service. So if you really like it, I can actually talk to them. I say that you like it. He will come and say, oh, but I'm not recommending it. I said, oh, I'm not asking for your recommendation, but what I'm asking you is, does it really make sense to you? Can you help me out here? Oh yeah, so tell me the story. It's great. Do you really like it? Yes, I like it. Do you have budget for it? You know what, now, usually we don't have budget, but I can tell you what, we have this slush fund here we can use. So when I use this technology, I call them technology because I'm technology background. So when I use this technology back, and I was in front of somebody selling a $50,000 solutions. And I was back in October 2007. I was in a breakfast, and everybody said, we don't have any budget. Our budget will start in January. We have no money. I said, I'm not asking you for money. I will just validate the concept. They said, that's great. We went through the concept, and this fellow in the table said, how fast can you have a system? I said, you know what? If you drive to my head office, which we used to be in 55 Avenue Northeast, which is on very, very close to here, like behind the private airport, behind Tim Horton on 12th Street here. We are in this. We used to be in this area. I said, if you drive by there, you can hook from the backyard, from the parking lot. You can actually get the trailer from there, and it has all the cameras on it. He said, are you seriously having them in stock? I said, no. This is the prototype. We did all the testing. But if you wanna test the technology, I can give it to you. I'm done with my testing. I have it there. So the immediate question was, how much do you want to sell it for? Sell what? The prototype you have. So I walk in with a $50,000 check, and I delivered my prototype 6 months later because they were not ready. They had budget. You need to have procurement. You need to deliver it to their headquarters in Calgary. They need to ship it to Fort McMurray. And then I got beyond that another $100,000 for engineering work to install it and test it for another 6 months. And I was there. I was all what I was looking for. Get feedback from engineers working in the field on this technology, which I know it was tested and worked in Bimina. And these guys we end up from Enbridge Pipeline. And when I left the company, Enbridge Pipeline paid us more than $2.2 million. Okay? And that's why when I go to this particular scripting, I look at it as technology. Can you see this language? Can you figure out on your feet similar language so we can basically continue the conversation? You don't know when they will buy. And at that time I used to be a university professor, which is much worse, okay? So, any questions here? Does this make sense? The following one, somebody will come back to say, yeah, I am afraid that this area of business is outsourced. Or I am afraid that we already have a supplier for that. So how can you address this?
How would I address that?
Yeah.
Well, so he says that, oh, we've already got a supplier for that.
Yes. Or it's outsourced already. I have a supplier.
Outsourced to
Yeah.
that?
So you come and say,
What
I'm doing this training. Our training is already outsourced.
Well, it depends. I'd like to go at the approach of what have you learned there? I could ask them that, or how much is it?
Okay, that's good. Because an average salesperson will say, I could have been somebody. This market is rubbish. Because everything is taking up what an average salesperson will take it as everything is already set, everything is already sold. Why I'm in this business? It's a completely rubbish business. He thanks the client, depart with another note that's wow, is me, and then he just basically left. Someone else, superstar, will say, that's fine. As someone focused on providing a special solution in that area, I am pleased that you take it so serious. I am curious, what were your reasons for outsourcing this area of business in the first place?
So the reason you're asking them that is just to keep the conversation going, or?
And then you may challenge their ideas, or you may take their ideas and position yourself as better than the competitor.
Would it be bad to ask them, like, are they really happy with the?
Not right now.
Okay.
Not immediately. You want to first build the conversation to know the rationale to outsource it. Now, the question usually we've been asked here is, if they outsource service similar to yours, what does it mean to you?
It means they value the product or the service, which is good.
And it means also what?
There's an opportunity for you.
It's an opportunity for you. So if I come and say I outsource training, it means what? I may also contract you for training. That's right. It's not means that it's already taken.
Well, they didn't. Well, technically, he didn't really specify what training he has, and I don't think he knows what type of training I have.
This is another point too as well. So if somebody will come and say we outsource training, it should be the best message in your day, because they are open to outsource, they have experience with outsourcing training, they will have a budget for external consultant. All what you need to do is one of two things. Either position your training as complementary training they never really considered before, or you are much better than the competitor, so you push the competitor away. That's it.
Yeah.
How you can be better than the competitor? By being local, by being focused as a small team, strive and dive to win, by being as young generation coming in with a whole lot of technology, which is no established company with training will have, because usually they have outdated materials. They will try to maximize the return of their investment on it. There are so many ways that you can position yourself as the point, as the service to go to, while you are the fresh kids, not the new kid. We are the fresh kid on the block. That's right.
Yeah.
However, you need to continue the conversation with them. So saying something, that's fine, and someone focus on providing specialized solution in that area. I am pleased that you take it so seriously. I am curious, what were your reason for outsourcing that area of your business in the first place? So here you say you are very focused on providing specialized solutions, so you are very special, very focused, and you compliment them, acknowledge that they are so serious. So individuals who do work like, the bookkeeping kind of accounting businesses, they always outsource. This is for them a very legitimate feedback, because if they can call up customers, and the customer will either have outsourcing before, or the customers will be not outsourcing, and this will be their first time outsourcing for them. Does this make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, outsourcing is equivalent to we have a similar product, or we have a similar supplier, or we have somebody else doing this work for us. Doesn't matter the difference in the languages, right? The following objections: I haven't enough time, or I don't have time. Yeah. So an average salesperson will think, I will be quick as soon as possible. I will be as quick as possible then, and then they will start to talk to it quickly. Somebody really mature enough will say, oh, and I wouldn't waste a moment of your time. Or another approach will say, I apologize. When this week would be more convenient to call, how would Friday afternoon be for you, 3 or 4? It means what? You are pushing him to
For an appointment.
a further appointment. The initial acknowledgement is enough time for most customers, is good. And take responsibility if the customer repeats the objection. Set a time for conversation using different closing technique. The point I want to say here is, if you schedule another meeting and you call them back, and this will get you into the risk of not getting to them again, because they can have your caller ID, they can ignore you, or they will not be in the office, or they will be withdrawn to an important meeting. So you have to make a choice. You can say, and I will not waste a moment of your time. I will be very brief and I want to share with you. Or you basically schedule another meeting. So if you do the first attempt and say, I will be brief and I want to share with you, and you say, you know what, I don't really have time, I have to run. And the second time, usually they give you the reason. I am running again is the deadline for a board report or a customer report or a follow-up. So you can walk away with a closing to a meeting or to another conversation. Sometimes you close and say, yeah, that's great. You know what? Would you mind, instead of the phone, that I come in person, so I will show you all my catalogs and you will have a clear idea. They say, yeah, maybe you can come, just connect with my secretary and she will set you an appointment with you. Say, oh yeah, so is there anybody else in your organization who would like to attend, so we can maximize the value of your time, guys, by having internal conversation about the potential solution? He might give you 2-3 names. So when you call up his secretary, she will tell you, oh, he doesn't have enough appointment for the next 16 years of his life. So what you do then? Remember the names he gave you? You call them up and say, I spoke to so-and-so and he's so busy, but he recommended to talk to you and present you my solution in a meeting. Usually these people will be inferior for this boss. So they will tell you, yeah, okay, yeah, we know he said so, okay, so let's meet on that day. And then you can meet with them. Does this make sense? Is this useful? Okay. The following one, they call it, you are too expensive. The price objection is one of the most feared by salesperson, and the client know it. So what most people are not afraid of using it. So that's why people will tell you what you told me. What did you say? How much will it cost? That's right.
Isn't the most sometimes, like, I think sometimes the most important things, or the most important most important things that are pertain to be valuable are expensive. Like,
No. No, I understand what you are saying. I understand what you're saying. You said that if things are expensive, they are more valuable. I agree with you. But when somebody will come to say, you are too expensive, how you handle you are too expensive? We had an individual, just to explain to you the situation in a slightly different approach. I do have an individual here who will go and present in different workshops. He do like 6 a year. And he makes a decent amount of money out of this because he got so many upselling his products. So he's seen someone who really needs his service. She needs the service. And when he approached her with a service for like $300, $600 service, she said, no, I don't have money on my credit card. By the third day, he found her, she's buying a crystal ball for $10,000
Jeez,
on her credit card.
that's insane.
So I always share this story because I want you to understand what is the baseline for expensive.
Oh, and I've seen it so many times too. Oh no, too much money, don't have my budget, and then they'll do some like TV advertising or something, and it's like way more money. It's like really, yeah,
1.2
well, not
million.
that much, but
So-
no, what I mean, but it costs a lot, right?
Why they do it?
It's just value.
Why
time-
they do
could
it?
be timing, with perceived value, things like that.
It's perceived value.
Mhm.
So the one who sold them on TV advertisement, they were very well articulating benefits. The question will be is, will it be more effective or less effective than your solution?
I would assume for the price, definitely what I was doing, but I don't know exactly what they were doing. I just saw the commercials, so.
You know?
I don't know.
So when you are too expensive, you have to stop and understand what is the rationale. That's why in this book, on page where is it? It's supposed to be here.
128, or are we on?
No, there is on page where is it? On page 249 to page 280, there is 30 pages or 29 pages about simple objection. What is it? Can you read the objection for us? Can you read the
On
objection?
this one, it costs too much. Is the first one.
It costs too much. So this particular section, you have to read it carefully. What's the difference on page 249 to page 280? There are, I believe, 23 objection handling. It costs too much. Or 26, 27,
So
28. Yeah.
So when it comes to prices, when it's too expensive.
It's too expensive is exactly like
But-
it costs too much. That's right.
Wait, couldn't you compare so like a lesser product, and the reason why ours is more expensive because it's better and has certain benefits?
The answer is yes. You can compare a lesser product. So when you look at you are too expensive or it costs too much, we have to understand where in the cycle it will happen. Are you basically articulating all of your benefits? Did you convince them they need this product? Are they looking for this product or not? So when you read the 28 different objection overcoming there, one of them will be expensive compared to what? How do you come into another one will be how do you come into a conclusion that is too expensive? Can you explain your rationale? Can we work together on a customizable solution for you to meet your budget? What's your budget now? So if somebody will come out, I have no budget. If you have no budget, is there anything expensive for you? If you have no budget set, is expensive rational to you? Why you look at me? If you want to buy a bag or a purse, and you have no budget limit, can you define?
Limit?
Yeah, and you have no budget limitation. In your mind,
No.
you don't have a budget yet. You didn't decide about how much you want to spend on it. Can you define for us what expensive means to you?
Well, if I've compared bag to bag,
You will come up with what's reasonable. That's right. So if I go and buy for me, I can buy a briefcase. Okay, for me, even if I want to buy a briefcase or a bag, and I have no budget limit, I didn't say I will spend the $50, $100, $20,000. I didn't have any perceived budget yet. So I will expect to be open to any number of prices. So when I go and found a Burberry bag for 31,000 euro in the airport, I said, will people spend 31,000 euro for a bag? Yes, the reality is yes. I had photo of it in Frankfurt airport. When I come here and I go find like Michael Kors or the most important one, Coach. You know, Coach bags, people like just line up for it. I don't know why. So when you go and find these bags and you find like a decent bag will be around $250 to $400. So what's my budget now? Better 250, okay, 400, that's right. So if you talk early on and somebody will say it's too expensive, you want to understand how he can build this decision upon. What's expectation? So one of the objection in the 28 in later chapter will be like, I hear you, it's too expensive. If we say money is not a factor here, will you still buy my product? If they say yes, if we afford it, it means what? It means it means you have to work your way back to give them customizable solution within a perceived value you increase. That's right. So this sales process is simple because it's just scripts, but it's not that simple because you need to have a brain behind it. You need to have a mind behind it. You need to be in the mood. You need to be alerted.
Chess. I always pictured as chess.
It's pictured like chess.
Yeah.
But I know not so many people. I'm a very good player in chess, but not everybody likes to play chess. So when somebody will say it's too expensive or you are too expensive, you have lots of 28 options in the back. From page 249 to page 280, you have so many options, you can read through them. Which one will you use is up to you, up to how complicated. What we have here is an average salesperson will say, quick, give him a discount. I am too expensive. Okay? Sometimes customers and prospects will tell you you are too expensive because they have been burned out before in overpaying for service they did not get any value from it. So they are afraid of being abused again. Will you abuse them? Not likely, that's right. So option one, you can share. I am sure you have a good reason for saying that. Do you mind me asking you what it is? What is the reason for you to say I'm too expensive? This is supposed to be page 124. No, correction. This is supposed to be page 128. 128. Option number two, are you considering the price or the total cost of ownership? Certainly, when you look at price on a piece of paper, we are not the cheapest. When you consider the total cost of ownership, which include, and you can talk about what includes, then you will be able to see that we provide the best return on investment. Okay? There is one objection somewhere. It said, yeah, we are too expensive. You know, the best service ever are never been cheap. So why do you expect me to sell you cheap stuff? Another one I developed some time ago, I say, yeah, that's right. We are expensive. We are not the cheapest in the market because it's cheap for cheap. Are you selling sheep to your customer, or are you really care about your company image and the quality of service? This kind of attitude of challenging them to come back on feedback to that, it's also another attitude you can develop. The option number three, well, I certainly don't mind selling for less. However, you will understand why I ask you this. How important is that any purchase provide on return of investment? Why? And you know that exactly why. In this dialogues in particular, we are always moving away from expensive price to what? To return of investment discussion. So when somebody come and say, this is the standard price for this workshop, it was about $2,000. When somebody say, okay, we don't pay $2,000 for a day training, I say, you know what? If you close one more deal, how much this will be for your business? How much are you selling your service for? So if because of what I do with your team, you closed one more deal, did you get return of investment beyond the $2,000? They said yes. So what's holding you from signing? Understand that? So when somebody use the word expensive, you have to move them into investment. Does it make sense? It's 5 o'clock right now, so I have to respect your time, guys, and I have to close. But I'm very open to hear your feedback, and we have to decide about when we can meet. Why?
Why not?
Why? What did you experience this day?
It's awesome. This is probably the most I've learned for 2 weeks. My job is so boring.
Okay. So, what's your reflection on this day?
My brain's full. I have to process it.
I know.
Yeah.
So, in summary, what we learned today is some characteristics of the prospects, of the other party, of the other people. We also explain a little bit about the sales process and how you stage the conversation. We analyze a little bit of behavior of buyers, how they can buy, and at the end we have this kind of dialogue or overcoming objection where you can use these scripts, and we have more scripts. We will go through it in the next lectures or the next webinar, so you can actually have a broader spectrum of what else you can do. Okay, any questions for me?
How does the rest of it work? I don't really know.
The rest of it,
Saying there's like there's webinars, but I don't know like timing or
yeah, we
anything
want
really
on the
website.
webinars. I want to decide about what time will fit you guys, because if I cannot get you all of you in one, I'm more than happy to do 1 or 2 sessions. So you can tell me, you can email me or or you can decide right now when we can have our next meetings. We anticipate to have like 3 hours because it will be discussions along this this book, and maybe some other information as well.
Okay.
Copyright 2017 Win Your Brand. All rights reserved. This video is subject to copyright owned by Win Your Brand. Any reproduction or republication of all or part of this video is expressly prohibited, unless Win Your Brand has explicitly granted its prior written consent. All other rights reserved.